Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Joseph Parker, he's in a tough spot right now in his career. He's had a pretty bad 2018. He's coming off 2 losses. He hasn't had the winning feeling all year. He lost his WBO strap to Anthony Joshua. He's faced repeated questions about his desire, his training, his trainer, his overall setup, and whether he can still mix it at world level. Can he get back to the top of his game? Can he get back to the title? And as a result of his recent results and some of the dwindling hype and general coverage, he really hasn't been on the minds of a lot of boxing fans. And the reality is, apart from Parker and his promoter David Higgins, is anyone really calling for the 26-year-old to be in with the likes of Joshua, Wilder or Fury anytime soon? Even though Parker is adamant he would have given both Wilder and Fury problems. The fact is, he's got a fight coming up this weekend, and that might actually come to some fans as a bit of an oh yeah moment. And his opponent, Alexander Flores, and it doesn't exactly get the heart racing, does it? Flores, a lightly regarded heavyweight out of the United States, a guy who sports a 17-1-1 record. The most notable opponent he's fought is Charles Martin, who stopped him in 4 rounds. Flores is the sort of opponent that Parker's promoters Duco Events have previously force-fed the New Zealand pay-per-view market. Someone with a decent looking record, but when you look under the hood, there's nothing much there. In all reality, Alexander Flores is overmatched with Joseph Parker. And with history repeating itself again, all for the princely sum of 40 New Zealand dollars, that's more than the Wilder Fury pay-per-view in New Zealand, Parker is expected to stop Flores in this fight. And a stoppage is what Parker needs, and a good one. It's been more than 2 years now since Parker stopped an opponent in the ring. That last stoppage, it was against Alexander Dimitrenko, who took a shot to the body when he had a knee on the canvas. And subsequently to taking that shot, he was writhing around on the ground looking for the ref to disqualify Parker for an illegal shot. So, you know, Parker looked really good in that fight. Some questions over the stoppage, but the last proper knockout where he really knocked someone out, that was 2.5 years ago, July 2016. When the New Zealander brutally dispatched journeyman Solomon Hamono. And as it happens, that was the last time that Joseph Parker was at the Horncastle Arena in Christchurch, the same venue for this fight with Flores. And it's going to be interesting, to me at least, to see how full the arena is. Last time out, Joseph Parker was a contender on the rise. He managed to sell more than 5,000 tickets to that venue. And according to the ticket map here on screen, and this is from the Monday of fight week, 30 sections had available seating. Unlike other ticketing maps, you can't zoom in, see how many tickets remain in each section. But if I wanted to buy 10 tickets, which is the maximum allocation, that was available in the sections that are still available. A total of 17 sections, according to the map, had sold out. Plus there's the ringside table, you know, those allocations, that sold as well. And why this all interests me is, it speaks to Parker's current profile, his appeal with the general New Zealand public. In other words, casual boxing fans. The ones who got on board the Parker Express in a country which doesn't typically support boxing in any meaningful way beyond hardcore fans. The success of this event, it could well dictate whether New Zealand fans see Parker again in his prime. The Parker camp has already indicated that after this fight, Parker will be off again overseas, possibly campaigning in the United Kingdom or even the United States. But if this event doesn't do as well as they expect, the option for coming back to New Zealand to run overpriced pay-per-view events against overmatched opponents, that might not be used again. If they can't make money or enough money that they would like to make, they just won't do it. And until now, they've had this option if they didn't like the offers overseas. So it's a double-edged sword in some ways, because Parker's New Zealand fans may not get to see him much going forward, but Parker may be forced to take more fights overseas that fans want to see him in. If he's in the US or the UK, he's going to be much tougher than an Alexander Flores type of opponent. It's just that simple. But it really does start on December 15 to get the wheels turning again, to get some momentum back in Joseph Parker's career. And that's perhaps why David Higgins, upon this fight being announced about 8 weeks ago, he spoke about being the most nervous he'd ever been before a fight. In some respects, given where Parker's been, it's a ridiculous sort of sounding statement. But Parker's career, in many ways, it does hinge on getting through this Flores fight and looking good. Really good. Because if he looks laboured in any way, or if he struggles to get rid of Flores, his stock is going to it's going to go down, or it's going to go nowhere. It is a blatant cherry pick after all. You know, he's trying to end the year with a win, trying to get some confidence, trying to breathe some life back into his career. And should Flores take Parker the distance, many fans are going to be questioning Parker's place in the division, and also they'll question his power. But power is something that they have been working on in this training camp, according to Parker himself.
I think I came into camp at a good weight, and I feel like we've implemented a few things which have been very beneficial. We can see inspiring, and we can see a lot more power, you know. And so I feel like the camp's gone great, and I feel I'm in good shape. So there's no excuse. I should be fit, strong, healthy, and ready for the fight come December 15th.
There's an element of broken record material with Parker and also his trainer Kevin Barry, who every single camp, they always describe it as being great, the best ever, things are clicking in the gym, we're doing stuff we've never done before. So with this whole more power thing, I'm just not sure that Flores is the opponent to get a true gauge of that, because many expect that Parker to knock Flores out regardless. So if Parker was in with a top 20 or top 30 guy, we might get a better read on whether his power has increased. But just for me, this is an 8-week camp. It would seem unlikely Parker's made some sort of monumental power gains just in that period. But Parker, he's also been working on being more aggressive in his camp.
You know, I was, you know, a lot of people questioned, you know, if I could be mongrel with the Dillian Whyte fight. So with this fight, or this training camp, I think if you ask the sparring partners, they've really held down here a few times and tripped them up, throw them around the ring. So I feel it's something we have to do. You know, it's you not only have to box smart, but you have to be ruthless inside the ring.
I mean, you're such a technical boxer. Has this come sort of hard to you a bit, do you think, to sort of get this sort of other edge to your game?
No, I feel it's important to be an all-rounder fighter. You know, I can be good technically, but I got to be good at roughing it up in there and wrestling and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just adding another extra thing to the arsenal that we already have.
Alexander Flores, for his part, he is brimming with confidence about his chances in this fight with Parker.
If he won his last 2 fights and the fight was still presented to me, I still would have taken the fight regardless. So whether he has 2 losses or his last 2 wins, whatever it was, I'm just ready for a fight like this. You know, I've been training for the last 4 years due to my inactivity and promotional issues that I had. I wasn't able to get big fights, but I've been in camps with former world title challengers, former champions, also world champions. So, I mean, I'm ready, and I mean, I'll be ready for whatever Parker's going to bring. He's nothing new that I never sparred with. But I've seen a lot of flaws. I can tell you one thing for sure, he does get tired. I mean, the fight with Dillian Whyte, how are you a world champion and look sloppy and tired like that? I mean, that's just my opinion. You know, I mean, he should be looking fresh off the first round to like the last round. But, I mean, I'm just hoping he's getting up and doing his running. To be honest, I think they're underestimating me, which I hope they're not, because I don't want to hear any excuses once I beat him. I think they picked me because obviously he came off his last 2 fights. I feel like Parker didn't want to fight. I think his promoter kind of made him. But, yeah, I feel like they're looking past me because they're already talking about the Dillian Whyte fight. But I feel like he's looking for a win, a knockout, what he was saying. So, but that's not going to happen.
Flores' trainer, Michael Love, he's just as bullish about his charger's chances, saying that they've had great sparring in the lead up to this fight.
Right now in Southern California, we have the top heavyweights in the world right now. I mean, everyone is there. I mean, I don't know who's out here, but I know down there, legends, all around. We're 40 miles from Big Bear. We have everybody at our fingertips.
Flores has been sparring with the likes of Andy Ruiz Jr. and Dominic Breazeale, among others. Parker, meanwhile, he isn't fazed about what Flores is saying about this fight.
I don't think he would have taken the fight if he didn't think he'll win. But I think there's levels to this, and I feel he hasn't had the same opposition, and I feel if he feels like there's going to be an early stoppage, it'll probably be him gone.
So Joseph Parker, he needs to show up December 15th, look good, get a knockout. Anything less will probably be seen as a failure of sorts. His career, the next phase, it's sort of depending on how this result turns out. The rebuild, it starts now. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.